Uh, Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me. I have Sarah from Free Me Kinesiology who's joining me today to talk a little bit about her business and some tips to help you with your wellness. Welcome, Sarah.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to be here. We've been working together for a couple of years now, and it's awesome to do this with you.
I know we've done lots of different things, so it's great to have you. And because I do have lots of people who are always asking about the work that you've done with me, as well as the essential oils as well. But and people are always really interested in kinesiology because it's not something that's talked about very often. So maybe though first, before that, tell us a bit about yourself. Maybe things that people mightn't know about you either.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, and it's all relevant. It's all sort of intertwined. So I'm originally from California, the northern part of California, and I worked for a corporate company in the Silicon Valley. Was that 2007? And they transferred me over to Australia, and it was so interesting. There was so much happened when I was working in the Silicon Valley. It was a sales job, and I did fairly well for them pretty quickly. And because of that, they wanted me to come over here and work in the Australian office. And I promise this is all relevant. I'll tie it all in.
Oh, I've heard it lots of times, so I know it will.
Yeah. So they had all of these, because I did so well in Silicon Valley, they had all these expectations that, she'll be fine in Melbourne. She'll do super well. And so they transferred me over to help launch the Melbourne office. And it was one of the hardest years of my life because I didn't do well. It was funny. I remember the mindset and the energy I had starting the job at the Silicon Valley. I knew I was going to succeed. There was no other option for me. And then coming over to Melbourne, I don't know what it was. It was just a bit different. I was like, whether it was a bit worn out from being in that industry, I just came in sort of half-hearted. And although I knew exactly the action that I needed to implement to succeed, I did that, but it didn't work. So I spent about a year in that job failing. I can't believe they kept me that long. And it wasn't until I saw a kinesiologist, so many physical things started happening to me. I started getting severe neck issues, to the point that I had to wear a neck brace to work because I couldn't hold the weight of my head. No accident, nothing physical triggered it. But there's so much, I energetically held so much stress in my neck that I couldn't even bear to hold my head up. So that was embarrassing. So I had to wear a neck brace to work, not all the time. That was only a few times. And then I started getting underactive thyroid, and so many physical symptoms started to surface. And it wasn't until I saw a kinesiologist did my whole life change on every single level. My physical issues went. I'm still managing thyroid stuff. My thyroid still speaks to me. I've never had neck issues like that ever since. Do you
ever get a little twinge when you are making?
I will get a twinge.
Okay.
I do get twinges, but I listen to that.
Yes,
so
okay.
I always just say to people now that my body is the organ, your body, everybody's body is the organ of truth. And our physical symptoms it's our body trying to talk to us and tell us things about what's going on for us emotionally. And until we listen to those emotional cues or whatever we're holding on in our body stress wise, until we recognize that and choose to change and release it, your body will speak louder and louder and louder until it's screaming at you, until you have to wear a neck brace to work. So I do occasionally get a twinge, but I listen to that straight away. So anyway, after I started having sessions with my kinesiologist, my neck issues went, my thyroid completely stabilized. I became, like, if you fast forward, I became one of the top salespeople worldwide. So my success went back up. And this is the thing. This is why eventually I became a kinesiologist, obviously, but you can apply this work to any aspect of your life, because when you are holding on to stress energetically or heavy emotions, it will not discriminate. You will have that heaviness across every aspect of your life, whether it's your personal life, your career, your physical life, all of it. So once I cleared all of the energetic crap that I was carrying, my physical body healed, my career skyrocketed, my relationships all, were beautiful. So what I learned from that, I became a kinesiologist because I just thought to myself, if I could do this for people, if I could just help them with their physical pain or emotional issues, whatever, that would just be a dream, if I could do what my kinesiologist did for me, it would just help to free everybody. Hence the Free Me
The name
Kinesiology.
then.
Yes. Because I just feel like that's my purpose. It's just to help set people free of whatever's keeping them bound up. And when you realize that everything is energy, and when I say energy, you can use emotion in place of that word, because energy in motion is an emotion. Everything is energy. And when you realize that everything just is energy, and that it is up to you to shift it. And when you do shift it, you could literally change aspects of your life almost immediately sometimes. Then you will take the power back. So that's been my journey, and it's been such an honor to be able to work people and see similar things unfold for people all over the world.
Yeah. Well, like even myself. So the whole physical thing is, I've shared with a few people, but you know, you have to be careful who you share, because they just would look at me weird. But you know, applying for this position job that was not really right for me, I had that terrible pain in my hip that I even thought it was so serious that it could be cancer. Like, I was sent by the doctor and the physio to check that it wasn't cancer last year. And that's when they were like, there's actually nothing, it's just inflamed. And so I was like, right, well, I've got to see Sarah. And you were like, no, it's the wrong job. It's just stepping into the wrong thing. And funny, so the pain, I haven't had it since. It's completely gone. And then after you did one session on it, it was gone. So you said, if it clears from that session, then we know that that's the reason. It was the wrong thing. You were stepping into the wrong thing. So the start of the year, another position came up to do 2 days of PE primary teaching. And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. That afternoon, pretty much an hour after, I started to get pain in that hip and in my knee. And I was like, oh, that's that pain, right? So I went home and emailed back and said, actually, I don't think it is right for me. I really need to focus on my business. And I already have 1 day of teaching. That's enough. That's all I need. And it went away. So I did listen to that pain that was there telling me this is not right.
Good.
So yes, you've taught a lot. It taught me a lot, and I'm starting to listen to the energy.
It won't go away until you listen.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, this is a really hard concept for a lot of people to grasp. And I totally get it, because I was that corporate person. I worked in corporate for 10 years. So I was not always in this industry at all. But the way this has changed my life, this is when you can prove, quantum physics actually does prove this scientifically, a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome, because I know a lot of people need science, and I totally get that. But when you see the way people's lives change and then the physical issues go, there's no doubt that this is how all of this works.
Can you maybe go back a step and just explain quantum physics to people? Because people who have not worked in energy, or as some people call it, woo, they wouldn't even know maybe what that is.
Yeah, so quantum physics, part of quantum physics is the study of energy, and quantum physics states that everything in this universe is energy. So including this table that I'm sitting at is energy. Everything has an energetic frequency. So when you learn to tap into the frequency, so our body is energy, and our body has different energy systems. So as a kinesiologist, I work with the different energy systems, and quantum physics even states that when you work with energy, there is no time and space. So Narelle, a lot of our work together was over Skype. I think a lot of the physical stuff we did was over Skype, in fact.
It was,
Yeah, so I mean, we cleared you cleared your physical issues through Skype, through me facilitating the energy work. So so for me, I've been working with energy for so long now, you kind of start to develop extra sensory ability. So for me now, I can sort of delve into the energy and see what's happening. I could see, for example, that that you had a lot of inflammation in the area where you had the pain. And again, it's just your body trying to communicate with you. Our bodies love us. Our bodies are our best friends. Our bodies always want to do the right thing by us. But when the only way it knows to communicate with us is by getting our attention. And the only way it can do that is through pain. But we just don't listen. In fact, we mask it. We do the opposite of what we should be doing. There's an amazing book by Yvette Rose, who I've done a lot of work with, and she's been one of my mentors. It's called Metaphysical Anatomy. So if you want to translate your physical symptoms to what specific emotional traumas or conflicts or whatever you might be going through, get Yvette Rose's book, Metaphysical Anatomy. It's an awesome reference.
Yeah, I love that book. I think it's amazing. It's got some great, just looking at different things in our lives for my family. It was like, oh, this is probably what's going on. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I suppose from the work from you led me into even then studying, doing obviously your energy, mastering energy day session, as well as then the yin yoga, because it's all about energy as well. It's all, I mean, they obviously look at their Chinese energy meridian lines, which are still the same, aren't they? You work a lot.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Line. And it's about moving the energy and moving the emotion. So obviously I've been sharing an autumn sequence with them this month, and the autumn sequence is moving the grief and sadness that might be blocked in your lung meridian at the moment. So yeah, it's definitely inspired me, and I think
that's exactly,
isn't it? It's that physical thing that actually then motivates you to go, oh, there really is a lot behind this. The science is there to prove it.
Oh yeah. And yoga is such a powerful way to move energy. That is such a powerful way. If if you're not sure about all the techniques, you don't even need to know that, but yoga is a really powerful way, and it's a targeted way to shift energy, specifically in the energy meridians.
Yeah. And amazing as to afterwards that both the clients that I've been working with were like 50 to 70, and even the mums all said that some of them would find it that night, some would find it the next day, when the emotion would come out and say, I can't believe, lucky you warned me, because I was like the next day crying all day long and I didn't know what was wrong. But then I felt really good after that. So
that's awesome.
Teaching them a bit about it, has been really powerful for them to understand what's going on, rather than, I suppose, if they didn't know that, they might have gone, oh, I hate yin yoga because it made me cry. So understanding why, I think helps people. So what about at the moment, the energy in the atmosphere around us at the moment? Because I'm feeling that just that sound of birds, I don't know about you, maybe because you're in a beautiful spot anyway, but the sounds of birds around us here in Geelong are incredible at the moment. I feel like they're more than ever. There's so many birds out there that are really happy.
You know what? It is just such a beautiful time. I know. I don't want to discount what people are going through at all, because for a lot of people, it's a hard time, and I totally get that. And, a lot of people are struggling, but there's so many, I can give you a few techniques to help anyone through if they're feeling heavy around these times, or the worry or anxiety. But energetically, this is an insanely amazing time to be alive, because this is actually about expansion of the heart space. So right now, you might actually, I'll tell you some of the physical symptoms. So energetically, our consciousness is actually starting to expand. We're starting to go into our earth is starting to expand into a higher level of consciousness. And this is a massive energetic shift that's happening to our world right now. So physically, so your heart space, your heart chakra, for those of you who don't know or haven't heard of heart chakras, just right here. And this is a massive time of heart space expansion, which is amazing. So, it can happen quite quick for people. So you can maybe experience physical symptoms, which can be heart palpitations, ringing of the ears, a bit of a sore, twingy back, coughing, but not the corona cough. So, so lots of people, headaches, if you get random headaches, if you're not prone to headaches, if you've experienced headaches, it's all part of this massive energetic expansion that's happening right now. And sometimes what you have to do is just visualize yourself, where you're at now and the heaviness of everything, and pull yourself up and hover over all of the beautiful healing that's happening on the planet right now. You could see that our planet has expedited its own healing, and it's allowing us to all expand our energy, which is so awesome. So try to tap into that in gratitude, knowing that our earth is healing, our consciousness is expanding, and nothing but good is going to come from all of this.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
that.
It lights me up. I've been doing so well because I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Mentally, I've been doing so well. And like I said, I know it's a really hard time for a lot of people, but I just, so, I pull myself up and I expand my view over everything. And I'll just scan over my timeline, in the future going, oh my God, this is all for the greater good. And this is just all happening for amazing reasons.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you did a story on Instagram stories maybe last week, and I did tune into that and was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And using your grounding, like sort of visualization of, putting your feet down, visualizing, and the core energy from the earth coming up through yourself is definitely helped me over the last week, because I know definitely I felt quite anxious last week in particular, just with all the changes and dealing with kids, like, and their energy as well, I think, and their worry, and husbands, because like my husband is so different to me. If he listened to us now, he'd be like, what?
Same as my husband. Yeah. But this is a prime time for people to be triggered, because this is all new for everybody. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. People are very prone to triggers during these times, but it's okay, because everyone's in this massive expansion state. So we're kind of treading into unknown territories, and that can heighten triggers as well. But the other side of this is just beautiful healing worldwide. Which is exciting.
It is exciting. So tell people then how you actually work with them, or some of the services that you do. Actually, before you jump onto that, is there any essential oil you would recommend at the moment then for like helping them to ground, maybe grounding, but also around anxiety?
Yes. Yes, there's a few. So I always love frankincense for grounding and anxiety. So essential oils are amazing in a lot of different ways. I say they're kind of like kinesiology sessions in a bottle, which they kind of are, because they work on a physical level. So if you want to know all the scientific evidence that back what essential oils do for you physically, Dr. Axe, draxe.com, brilliant resource, lots of scientific research that go into essential oils. But they work with you emotionally. So when you smell an essential oil, it goes directly from your olfactory system to the limbic brain. The limbic brain is where you store all of the emotion. So if you feel anxiety, literally by smelling essential oils like frankincense that are extremely grounding and really strongly support anxiety, it actually diffuses that emotion in the limbic brain. And what happens is when you're over emotional, the limbic brain will start to kick off, and it shuts your cortex down, which is your ability to think clearly. So what an essential oil like frankincense would do would calm that limbic brain and allow your thinking brain to switch on. And then all of a sudden you're like, hang on, it's not actually that bad. My emotions have just taken over. So frankincense would be one of my number one oils for grounding and anxiety. And there's a lot of scientific research there to support that, let alone the energy of an essential oil, because we know that everything is energy. And connecting with nature through essential oils, because it's just pure extracts from the plants, again, help you to calm that anxiety and help you to vibrate at a different frequency. There's another oil called Adaptive, which I just have by me everywhere. This is one that you can only get from the States, but this is specifically, it's a blend. Have you tried this one yet, Narelle?
No, I've never bought any from the States.
It's, if you need that, when you get really racy, when you get that mind that just starts buzzing, it just literally helps you go, whoom, like brings you straight back down and straight back in your body. So
what's the main essential oil in it?
The main essential, there's lavender, wild orange, copaiba. Copaiba would probably be the main calming oil. So that's magnolia, rosemary. So rosemary helps with the cortex again, helps with that thinking. Copaiba would be the main calming oil. Spearmint, interesting. Okay, spearmint. So that helps you, switches you on as well. But lavender or copaiba would have that real calming effect. So So those would probably be the two. I could probably spend an hour talking about oil. So I'll
I know, but I just wanted one, just to give people just a bit of an example and to show that's like one of the other areas that you do work with. So so tell us about kinesiology and how people could work with you.
Yeah, so obviously now it'll be online. I do have a clinic in Williamstown. I will have a clinic here. I'm in the Macedon Ranges now. We just moved here. So so I would say, when there's a lot of definitions of kinesiology, and if you were to look it up online, don't, because there's just so many. It's a university degree in America, and it'll confuse the heck out of you. So kinesiology would be more of what I do in person with the physical, moving the body and muscle testing. When I work with people online, because because I can connect in with energy, I can look at a person energetically, and it's kind of like they're just in front of me. So, and again, with energy, there is no time and space. So I can look at your energy. I can see where the energetic blocks are. I can see where the emotions are being held. I can look at the physical pain, and we can clear it together. So your body, your mind, your soul can heal itself. And that's your body, that's all it wants. It just wants to be healed. So I do 1 hour sessions. The other thing that I'm doing now are something called talk sessions, because people are being so triggered and they just need an outlet. They just need to dump everything. I'm doing a 1 hour talk session, which are actually cheaper than my kinesiology sessions, so I can be more accessible to everybody. But at the same time, I still do look at the energy, and as they're talking, I'm helping to clear everything. So the immense relief you feel after one of those sessions is good.
Yeah, it's
really
amazing.
Good.
It's actually like I can't. It's probably one of the best things. And I've seen psychologists over the time and some other healing, but I'd say kinesiology is definitely, for me, the one thing that I really, really feel amazing for so long from it too. So yeah, I highly recommend. But it's about people finding that thing. It might be for others, it's like, no, see, whereas I can't deal with massage doesn't do that for me, whereas other people probably get that sort of release from massage or tapping I can do, but not massage. So it's just something to open your eyes up to allow people to say, oh, maybe it is something that I could try.
Yeah, if you feel drawn to it in any way, then you have to listen to that soul urge. Then that's your soul saying that would be something good for you. If you don't feel drawn to it, then there's something else out there for you.
Yeah. It's funny because I think the first time I met you, maybe 3 years ago, straight away I was like, oh my gosh, I so need to work with her. I need to do this kinesiology session. Yes, my soul was definitely.
Look at us now.
Yeah. So, and what about your energy mastering? Because that's another area that people, just to be able to tap in, because I found that really useful to use with my kids, using that. So are you doing any of those online or anything?
Yes, I am. So I've created it's a 10-week certification that I've created. And that was inspired through my clients, because there's just so much information I wish I could give people at the end of a session to say, do this, try this. If this happens, then you do this. And I just want people to know that they can be in the driver's seat when you understand that energy is everything. And I mean, I could spend a whole hour talking about that and manifestation and how, that's actually a real concept. I know it's thrown around a lot, but it is a real concept because everything is energy. When we embody an emotion, we emit a frequency, and that frequency is replicated out into a neutral universe. The universe shows us that frequency back in an experience. So when you understand that and you can manipulate what you experience through your energy, then you are in control. And all of my content now, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, is all about empowering people, because I think people now feel so out of control that they fall into anxiety, fear, scarcity, all of it. So my energy mastery certification is about giving people all of the techniques to not only be able to work on themselves, but they can actually become a practitioner and work on people if they choose. I have people doing both. People going through it just to learn about energy and how to work with themselves, and other people that want to be practitioners or whatever. So that's probably the other way. I did have day workshops booked, but those have been postponed.
Okay. So would you consider doing those online just as day workshops?
I haven't thought about that, but it's a 3-hour workshop. I reckon I could actually.
Yeah, I think you should.
That's a good idea.
I found it really useful, and I highly recommend it to someone if they felt drawn to it and they wanted to just learn a little bit more before they maybe got started in using kinesiology, or they want to use it within their own family, especially if they're already working with essential oils. I think it really complements beautifully if you've already got the essential oils there as well.
I will I'll figure out how I can put that out there. That's awesome. Thank you for that.
So would you, just before you go, is there any common myths then that happen in the industry of kinesiology? What would be, if you've got one or two?
I don't know. I knew what I probably would have thought about it as a corporate person, but I think the only thing I'll say is that open your mind to understanding it first, and that we are actually programmed to work against ourselves. And that's what I want to teach people how to undo. So when you tap in and learn how to work with the energy world, the world of energy, which is what governs our whole existence, it is the opposite to how we're programmed to operate in the physical world. So one of my main, that's probably what I want to debunk, I guess. It's not really any stigmas around kinesiology. It's that we're actually living the opposite to how we should be living. And that's the message that I want to spread. I want people to be empowered to connect with themselves and to be able to communicate with their bodies and to learn what their body wants to tell them, and to be able to heal themselves and to learn to work with energy so they can manipulate positive outcomes in their reality. And it's all through working with energy. But we're programmed to do the opposite of what the universe wants us to do.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Our brain does 80% of our thoughts are negative, which is like, why are we doing this? It's like, So,
well, and so that's it. That's a frequency. Negative thoughts as an emotion. That's what we're embodying as a frequency. That's what we're emitting out into a neutral universe, and that's what we're being shown back in an experience.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's changing that. Reframing is our big thing here at home in our house anyway. With the the autistic brain, it actually does go straight away to that negative. So it's helping to reframe, which is quite interesting as well, I find. So how can people find you? So share like your social media. Like I love watching you on Instagram. So maybe share your,
my daughter always jumps in.
I don't know my social media handles.
So you can find free me kinesiology. So I think it's free _me _kinesiology on Instagram. But if you just look up Sarah Tynan as well, you'll be able to find me. It's Tynan. And if you guys want to know more information, then just send me a message, and I'm happy to explain more or have a chat or point you in the right direction.
Oh, thank you so much for your time and all your knowledge that you've shared with us, and inspiring us to open our eyes and mind to kinesiology and the world of energy.
My absolute pleasure, Narelle. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you.